teacher at SCPS.
Perfect.
Combined all three.
Okay. Motion made by Paul and seconded by Heather. And is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Approve proposed payment of money in the 2.5 contingency fund.
So, I
Sounds like a Kelly
apologize
thing.
for not being here tonight, but the district 3 years ago started a contingency fund.
Yep.
That contingency fund is for emergency situations, and you are allowed to keep 0.25 of your overall budget, 2.5, excuse me, of your overall budget. Kelly is recommending that we put $25,000 into that contingency fund. Currently, there's $150,000 in that fund right now. So we typically try to put about $20,000 to $25,000 a year away. That does top out, obviously, because you can't go above the 2.5 of your overall budget. Excuse me.
I move that we approve proposed placement of money in the 2.5 contingency fund.
Okay, motion made by Paul.
It's 25,000?
25,000.
25,000.
Okay, and that's for statute.
Yep.
And do we have
Second.
seconded by Heather. Okay, discussion.
So what are these funds for?
This is any emergency that comes across our plate, so it could be anything whatsoever.
Boiler, special education,
bigger
bus
than-
breaks down.
Bigger than that, so we ran out of money.
Catastrophe.
We couldn't pay our staff. We could be anything across the board.
We actually, I don't know if you remember, Brian, but we had a fund. We actually had, I don't know if it was even a capital reserve. I think it was part of the capital reserve, but we had this, and then when the state redirected it and allowed us to,
Right. You
to
switched
do
it.
that, we
Yep.
switched it. And I think it was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago, the town, the town decided to do, to fund that with the fund balance rather than have us raise it by taxation. So they said yes, everybody voted yes, everybody seemed to want to do that, so we've kind of pushed that ever since.
Is there a limit to how much we can have in
Yeah.
it?
2.5 of your
2.5.
overall budget. You can't
Yeah.
exceed that amount.
And that's
So
about
right
the
now, we're
amount
about
that we
a
used
10
to.
million, we'll call it $11 million budget, so it's
Okay,
about 200.
sorry, so it's, I was thinking that would be, you can't put more than that in,
So you could put it all in right now if you had it, but you can't ever exceed
say 2.5. And where are we?
150. With this, it'd be 175.
And that's roughly what we used to keep in it, is about that much. So we were doing it just a different way, but now the state requires it, and or they allow it if we want to do it.
Have
That's
we,
what they're doing.
what did we use it for in the past?
Oh, wow.
Did we ever use it in the past?
In the past, we used it for different projects. It was more or less like a project that ended up being a failure or something like that.
So
I
you
wouldn't-
have-
it wouldn't really, technically I wouldn't call it a project, it was more for catastrophe.
Yeah, so you have your building capital reserves.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right, so this is an overall,
We have a special education one.
yeah, and this is any kind of emergency. So this doesn't limit you, those limit you to your building and or special education. This allows you, like I said, any sort of emergency. It doesn't have to be building related, it could be, based upon using our special ed contingency, our budget gets depleted based upon enrollment or special education, out of district placements, and we are having trouble making our end final payment for our faculty. We could pull this money into play and utilize that money without having to go back to the town for requesting more funds.
Or if we had some form of a problem that was insurance would not take care of or whatnot.
Yeah, it really just gives you the flexibility to utilize it for an emergency without it being a specific type of emergency, like a building emergency, a special ed emergency. Gives you all encompassing the district.
Is the fund kept where the other funds are held, at the financial institutions where the other funding? Okay, and is this fund backed by a bond?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay. Is it producing interest?
I don't know the answer to that question. I do not believe so.
Okay.
I can find out and we can get that
Okay.
information out.
Thank you.
Those,
3/4.
those particular ones are the town, I think the town actually takes care of. They're in a town fund. in our pocketbook, more or less.
So this will be held with the same balances
They end up,
that?
there's a certain portion,
Yeah,
and
so-
correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a certain portion of some of these funds that basically the town holds, other than we are the ones that actually can use it. No one else can use it, but the town actually, like, I think there might be a treasurer or something, or some form of a
Trustee.
trustee. It used to be Frank Gallup years ago. I don't know who it is now, but he would take care of, or was the overseer of all these funds.
So I can get you all that. My and I don't know specifically, so I won't even comment. My understanding is that you are in charge of, you are the trustees of these
Correct.
funds. And I know they don't earn interest because they maintain that.
This,
level.
the other thing that this does allow us to do is if there's like catastrophe, or if there is a catastrophic thing that we do use, we have to use that. We don't have to go back and have a town meeting to pull that out. Because technically, if you didn't have it, or you weren't funded, or you were underfunded, then you would definitely have to have a summertime meeting or whatnot to do that. So. Okay. You wanna get those? Just,
I'll send them out in
You can
email.
send an email out and let us know how they're funded.
I'll send them out.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions on this?
So what's the right amount to have in the account?
What's the right amount?
Yeah, it's a rhetorical question.
Eventually-
There's no answer to it, but it's.
Well, eventually
what
we
do
should have the 2.5, is what our goal would be, to get the 2.5 and then just remain at the 2.5.
Okay.
Good?
Good.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. Okay, next, authorize superintendent to approve summer hiring. Okay, would someone like to make a motion? This is something that happens every year. We need to do it in case, well, because we're going to be off on the next meeting. We're not going to have one in July, so.
I make a motion that we authorize superintendent to hire staff over the summer as EC staff.
Okay, motion by Brian. Do we have a second? Second by Paul. And discussion.
So what position?
He has to bring it to us.
Yeah, what positions are you
So we
currently
right now
possibly hiring
have
for?
IA, Sunapee Middle High School, first grade position, Sunapee Central, and that's it that you folks would have to approve. And so typically what I've done on that in the past is, once I get to the final person, I'll send you out their resume, let them know that I'm doing this as the person I have the job to. And then we can bring them back, and I like to make it official, so the next meeting, I bring them back, we try to make it official. Even though you've given me permission, I offer them a contract, just so the vote's on record.
Yeah.
Would you need an email vote over the summer in order to have them start in time?
We
for-
don't, because you just gave me permission. If you want to do it that way, we could, but you just gave me permission.
No, I'm good.
And those are the only positions that you're looking to hire?
Those are the only two I know of as we sit here right now, right?
As we speak, yeah. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, information. Russ?
So, I don't remember what it was, November, December, somewhere in that ballpark. State came out, we had a visiting team from the Department of Education, came out to review our accountability, our school accountability systems. They spent some time at both Sunapee Central and Sunapee Elementary School. They visited with students and teachers and parents, and some board members, I believe, were there as well and came through. They looked at sort of soup to nuts in our educational portfolio, if you will. And then based upon that, they have written a report, and I am pleased to announce that both schools did very well, very, very positive feedback, and have been granted adequacy based upon the review for this year. And generally, that's probably anywhere between to be honest with you, it's the first time the state's probably gotten around to do it in a long time. It's typically been done on an online version, and they took your word that you did everything that you said you were going to do. They just started this year going around and actually doing the on-sites, and that was forced by the federal government. And so they're keeping up with their end of things, but we probably won't get seen again for a number of years. But again, I commend both Jody and Sean for the work that's going on in their schools, and just some nice accommodations there for both schools
Yeah.
and comments. So,
Yeah, very well. I mean, not glorifying everything, but boy, there were a lot of good notes as far as what they're happy with.
Is that
Pretty good
report
chance.
available on the SEU website?
we haven't posted it yet because I wanted to make sure that you folks saw it first. We can put that up.
Please do.
Is it worthwhile just at least going over the last two both school districts, just reading that into just so some people do have a sense of what, and then the very bottom, just to read out for, if it makes sense, just to kind of highlight the and that.
You're talking about both school and
Yeah.
district?
Yeah.
So a strong sense of caring community with high expectations for its students is present in both schools. Staff members are valued by parents, administrators, and board members, as well as acknowledging the strong network of collegial support in each building. Very positive manner in which the community viewed the school. The belief by parents that teachers and staff are always looking out for their children. Utilization of curriculum software to allow for the posting of exemplars, curriculum mapping, course descriptions, shared resources from other users, standard alignments, essential questions, and content.
And that was for both.
That was both
schools.
schools and districts.
Yeah. And then the recommendations.
Continue to keep current and utilize the curriculum software tool to offer significant opportunity for sharing, capacity building, and instructional support. Work with local fire and safety offices to set a plan to address few deficiencies that were cited in December 2015. The most recent health inspection report on file was 2010, 10, 15, 12 from Sunapee Middle High School. We suggest having a more recent one and report on file. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, so I suppose, I mean, all in all, it was a good.
All in all, it was
review.
an excellent review.
Especially for not having one for quite some time, so.
Or not having one.
Yeah, actually, right, not having one at all.
So we'll get that up on the website for sure.
That would be good. That would be great. Okay, strategic planning update.
Sure. The administrative team spoke with John Kennedy from NESDEC probably about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And we sat and did a conference call, and we asked him to outline the process for us. And he was able to talk to us about the process, the timeline, makeup of community, of the committees. So we'll be putting together a leadership team, or an administrative leadership team, and looking at a couple board members, some community members, teachers, administration, potentially some students as well. That leadership team will meet anywhere between 5 and 7 times over the next year, and they will be the sort of governing body over the strategic plan. The steps of the strategic plan are as follows. This summer, the NESDEC will be developing a profile for the district and sharing that profile with us. And that'll happen again over the summertime. Sometime in late August, we'll meet with the administrative team and we'll start recognizing some themes as far as strengths and challenges. And that will be done in a 2-hour window. In October, we'll be putting together 4 focus groups: community, teachers, students, and parents. And those focus groups will come together for about an hour to 2 hours in time, and again, identify strengths and challenges and be able to rank order them. Based upon those focus groups and those rank ordered strengths and challenges, there'll be a survey put together. That survey will come out between October and November, will be distributed in the community and be available for folks in the community to take. Once that information is disseminated, we'll be able to come up with some goals. Those goals will then be brought to the school boards sometime in April, May for approval, to the school board in January, February for approval. Then the leadership committee will be working in April and May to develop strategies and activities regarding those items, and hopefully a completed document by June that you will approve, and that our strategic plan will be in place. So it's, I think we all felt a little bit about the process. We all felt we had a lot more information about how things are going to unfold. I have shared information with the administrators and with folks who had shown some interest in being on these committees. The administration will be inviting folks that want to be involved in the focus group or on the leadership team to take part.
Very nice. Any questions? No, that's good. So you're very comfortable with the
I
choice.
feel great about the choice, I feel great about the process, and I think we'll have a nice plan when we're all done. And I think we're going to have a lot of input, an opportunity for a lot of input.
Great. Community conversations, that must be our policy YRBS.
Nope, so that's, YRBS was the youth risk behavior survey that we
Okay.
went over at the last meeting.
Okay.
And from there, I have met with Dennis McMickle, and Dennis is a substance misuse prevention coordinator for Sullivan County. Also Liz Hennig from Sullivan County, Chief Cahill, and Jackie Watkins, our guidance counselor here at Sunapee Middle High School. We've had one meeting, we're actually meeting again tomorrow morning, and we're looking at the report itself and identifying some of the things that were very positive so that we can give an overview to the community regarding that report. And then just what the bullet says, community conversations, is starting to have some conversations within our community, bringing some people in from the outside, but more importantly, trying to engage our community around strategies, positive things that are already being done in the community, and things that we can help to continue to support our kids as they progress through our community. And so it's having those conversations and bringing some of those things to light. But they were very supportive of the survey itself. A lot of good things came out of that. One of the things that, at the top of my head, was that kids feel that they get a lot of prevention when they're here at school. They're getting a lot of information about prevention when they're at school, compared to across Sullivan County in the state, where our number was considerably higher than other districts. So there was some other concerns that we highlighted in our conversation about a month ago, but we'll kind of lay a presentation out, and you won't be hearing it now from the school. You'll be hearing it from a county perspective, which again is trying to bring the community into that conversation, because it's not solely a school conversation, it's a community conversation.
Emergency management drill, August.
So we have
27th.
met with Chief Cahill, and upon request, Chief Cahill brought in Homeland Security, and they're going to be working with the police department and the town in doing an active shooter here at the school on August 27th. That is a Saturday. So the administrators, my administrative team went down with Chief Cahill, and they did sort of a tabletop board game with us, kind of running through different scenarios, what would we do, what would you do, so that we would be a little more familiar when the police coming in our building, and the police would know our routines. It was a good exercise. Spent a couple hours down there. But so we're going to do this thing live on August 27th, and I think that we'll have some permission forms in the school. We'll be looking for some teachers to volunteer and some kids to come in and volunteer, and whether they're playing victims or they're in a classroom, and we'll go through our procedures and they'll go through their procedures. And again, Homeland Security will be here and sort of assess everything, and then we'll get to debrief and kind of look at things that we need to improve upon, things that went well, and maybe things that we can do better. So it's just a good opportunity for us to practice our emergency preparedness.
What day do we come back to school? I should probably know that, but.
We're
you
back
guys
the
probably didn't think of that.
29th, I think, is that Monday? So we're doing it while we're out of school. There will be notifications will go home to the community, it'll be in the paper, there'll be signs up, everyone will be well aware that we are in a drill, and that's why we're doing it on Saturday as well.
And is it just here, or is it?
It's just here.
It doesn't tie in with anything that goes to London?
No,
Okay.
no, so we're not evacuating, this is just an active shooter drill.
Gotcha. Okay. Good. Board's fine with that? Everybody's good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Sunapee Central School Facility Study updates.
So I'm just going to give you a little information to think about. We have, the last time there was a facility study was back in 2003, 2005, and that study was done by Team Design, a gentleman by the name of Daniel Bisson. He remembers a lot of you. At that time, there were some plans drawn up and some proposals. I think there was a couple of times that we went for a warrant, it failed. But I'm bringing this back because I need some direction, and I've asked for it a little bit, but I'm asking really strongly for direction for Sunapee Central School. We're not getting more students, we know that. Our student population has plateaued, but the space, the educational space itself is not adequate. We can, I don't want to go on and on and on. Those of you who have been on the CIP committee, have walked through that building, have seen kids in corridors and exposed pipes and outdated bathrooms and storage closets turned into offices and classrooms. Safety concerns regarding our front office, which is about 30 feet away from the front door. There's a litany of not only safety concerns, but educational concerns regarding the space itself. I'm looking for some direction on what this board would like to do or direct me to do regarding moving forward. Is it, we want to have somebody come in, for this Mr. Bisson now has actually been, they've been bought out by, Bison, by Harriman, and Harriman bought out Team Design, and we contacted, he came down and he gave us a lowdown on what was there, and he said, yeah, it's been about 10 years, 11 years, you guys may want to think about doing something again. I just need to know what to do, because we're going to let the building sit as it is, and we'll work with Matt, and we'll do little things along the way. Are we going to look to potentially do a building project? Are we going to look to do an addition, demolition, year-to-year renovations? So there are a lot of questions. None of us probably have those answers now, and I'm not looking for them, but I would like to know if you would like me to look further into having somebody come back in to do the educational study, to do the facility study, to give us information, to work with local police and fire. We have a new insurance carrier coming on board to really look at some of the needs of that building, to present them to you so that you can hopefully make some educated decisions on how we're going to proceed as a community with that current building. I know you've heard it all before, and not something you probably want to hear now, but it's somewhat my due diligence to bring that to the table.
Go ahead, Paul.
Silent.
Oh, you silent. Brian?
Where would facilities fit in within the strategic plan? Because I think the strategic plan will give us a vision, hopefully, of the future, which will help determine what we need in the way of facilities to get to that strategic plan.
There will be some there. To which granular level you want to get to would be up really to you as a strategic planning committee, if those of you are on it. I mean, I think one of the big things about facilities, you want to have appropriate facilities for adequate teaching space on
Yeah, that's very
it's a generic.
Right. Yeah.
What that means, then that leaves it up to you on what that looks like and how to move forward.
Heather?
Were any of these brought up by the Department of Health or the Department of Education or the Department of Labor?
So we've had the Department of Labor in, and we ran into several snags, and we've been able to clean up some of those. Department of Health our own health inspector has come in. We had some issues with water temperature and things like that this year that we had to adjust. The Department of Ed is not going to come in and tell you that, because they're not going to be that authoritative. Because they haven't put up the $15 million a year to support building funding in about 6 years now. So the best you can do is, again, have somebody give you outside appraisal, work with your local police and fire and see whatever they can recommend, and then also work with our new insurance carrier and having them come in as a fresh set of eyes and giving us a perspective as well. We know we're out of compliance for a few things. One, the egress. We have one entrance in and out of that building. And obviously, as I mentioned, there are some safety concerns. But it's not being condemned. It's not, it's nothing like that. We're not at that point. But are we just going to allow it to stay there and then say in 10 years from now we'll worry about it?
What I would like to have is a little bit more enrollment data, and it's in terms of a timeline. Where are we headed with enrollment? We know birth rates are going down. We know public school enrollments are down across the state, and will this have an impact on the needs for that building?
So your strategic plan will give you that profile I spoke of. Will give you an enrollment summary and a projection.
So that might be a good place to launch these ideas. Certainly, to get back into compliance is of importance, and I feel that we should start working on those issues.
So we met compliance, and again, I want to be real clear. This isn't necessarily about enrollment. This is about appropriate teaching space for our children.
What happens is the building is, back in the day, the rooms were designed for that kind of teaching. It's not that way anymore. You've got your special ed is totally different now. Some of your rooms just aren't adequate for the amount of kids that we do have. They're not going to shut us down because we don't have like a lot of the problems that some of the schools in other areas. The big thing is we're able to maintain, but it's like Russ said, we're not supposed, you're not supposed to be having a few kids in a corridor. And we went into we ran into this problem a while ago, and we actually spent some money. The town decided to spend money instead of spend money towards a renovation. But the one thing that that's going to be huge is if you use state funds, you have to have a second access to the place, and that was the big stickler because at the time that we did the first one, they talked about putting a new one in, which is right behind where the SAU is, and taking the one down on the hill, just selling it, or renovating the one up on the hill. And I think people pretty much decided they like to renovate the one on the hill, and that's why 2-3 years ago we talked about putting another road in. And the road was going to go down behind the between Bella Tate's and the Safety Service building, but that got redirected after the Safety Service was built. That's where the original road was going to go. So, and we funded part of that to do that. But now we talked about putting the road down in the front because of certain issues. So, if we're going to get any kind of state funding, you have to have a second access. And the only way that makes sense to put a road in was where we actually went through all the designing and everything else to do it that way. So, say you don't do the state. Say you do it on your own. The town does it on their own. Then we have to put we have to fork the money up all up front. Whereas if we're going to do the road, we have the money. The state will help fund the road. Also, will help fund the renovation if we do the school.
So let me just be clear on that, because Sean, you were right. That was the process. The state hasn't funded the 51 whatever it was $1 million in 6 or 7 years.
Right.
And they have no intent. It's failed every year through legislation.
Yeah.
So there is no money available for us even to apply for it this time in the state.
So we have two choices. We either have to, like you said, we either figure out if we're going to renovate or do a little bit different than what the original one was, so that we can clean up the access, clean up all the safety hazards that we have. The boiler systems that we put in are designed so that we could take a renovation. They were put in so that we could either add one more or we could utilize the two that we have, so we wouldn't have to upgrade that part of it.
So there are definitely,
it's a huge
Matt, do you
thing.
want to add anything on what you see as facility concerns as far as electrical, ventilation, water pipes?
Well, that was the next thing that had to be done. I mean, we did all the upgrades on the electric. We did because the town funded us for quite a while to do upgrades because we weren't going to renovate. So the only thing that we are lacking on right now is the plumbing. There was certain plumbing as far as the heating that needed beyond the main valves that actually shot the hot water to all the radiators, because we converted it from hot water from steam to hot water. So that was the next phase, was to actually change the radiators out, change all that stuff out if we were going to maintain what we have.
Just the plumbing in general in the building is getting pretty old too. We actually ran into an issue with what they call turbidity, discoloring of the water. And it's not bacteria, nothing that's hazardous, but the water is becoming noticeably discolored. So the town has allowed us to have a separate meter in one of the custodial closets where the water now runs constantly, so that the water is drinkable, clear, drinkable water. There's been some questions raised about I can't remember who brought it up, but the fire chief has sort of overlooked how we have backpacks and stuff in the hallways. There's technically supposed to be, the classroom is supposed to allow square footage for like cubby space. That stuff flammable material. Electrical is lacking. We have been kind of questioned a little bit. Nobody's cited this on it yet, but you know, we keep adding computer cards and stuff like that. We have a couple places where we have, you know, circuit protectors, daisy chain mounted circuit protectors, that sort of thing. A lot of little things.
So, sir,
Really going after us.
Sorry.
So hard. We have lovely, very understanding local authorities, and they understand the situation.
several years ago, we went through a couple different plans, did we not? Like, this is before
We
my
still
time
have
on the
them.
board. I think this is about the time we moved to town. There was,
So that's what this,
We've got 6 plans.
this is, the last plan I have was from 2006, May 2nd.
no, I'm talking actual building plans, not a,
No, these are,
Yeah.
okay.
there are plans in
Okay.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
conceptual drawings and, yeah.
This has the, looking at the building, the right side of the building, the addition being taken out and an addition being put onto the,
So we have 3 or 4 different choices in your mind, and I don't remember what the plans are,
I
but.
think we narrowed it, I think we took the 6 that we had and narrowed it down to at least 3.
Right.
We may still have
I think they're
all
all
6 there, but I know that we narrowed it down to at least the 3 that made the most sense.
So, Russ, what are you asking
So
for?
what I have done is I've asked Harriman, this Daniel, to write me a proposal on what it would be to come in and update this study from 10 years ago.
Yep.
To point out our building needs and also our educational needs. And then based upon that, I would ask you as a board if you want to conduct that study and then work with our new insurance carrier and work with our local police and fire and have them really take a hard look to identify the things that we are out of compliance, may not be an issue, but we're out of compliance on. So then now we have the full information in front of you as a board to say, we can do this or we can do this. At some point in time, something has to be done to that school. It may not be in your terms, my terms, whatever, it may be 10 years from now, 15 years from now, but we should maybe have a plan in place that's gonna say, in 15 years from now, we want to get a new building, or we want to add an addition, or we want this to happen. We're going to let it sit for 10 years and get through however we can get through, but let's know that. And so that in 12 years from now, whoever's sitting at this table can say, this is when we need to start raising funds and going after a bond. Because this is what we said we were going to do. It's been 12 years now. So I just think that's what I'm looking for. I'm not saying we act, that we put a bond together, and but I think we have a responsibility to put a plan in place for the community.
How much is it to have them look at the?
I haven't got his proposal yet.
What's that?
I haven't got it back as proposal
Okay.
yet.
So at the next meeting, you'll be able to let us know what's?
Yeah.
Okay, give us some more.
Yeah, get you some more
Okay.
information. But I just felt like I have to put it on the radar.
Touching a third rail.
I know, and I'm not trying to, but I do feel that if we're gonna do the strategic planning, that's gonna be part of it. Let's
Oh, will be.
at least be able to put in front of the town.
Sure.
Yeah.
8, 10,
Makes
12
sense.
years, whatever it is.
We've had at 2 different times, we've had temporaries out there.
Right, and you do have a temporary.
We have a temporary again, yeah, so,
I think we call it permanent.
Permanent temporary.
permanent, yeah,
Permanent
temporary.
With an addition. You like that?
Yeah, with an
We have
addition.
we have
We
a
had-
temporary with an addition.
Okay,
All right, sorry to
Thanks.
bring you all about it.
thanks for the good news.
Thank you.
Appreciate the good news, yeah. Okay.
Did we? Good.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I think you nailed
I'm
everything,
done.
didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, manifests.
I make a motion that we approve AP manifest 2016-23, 2016-24, and payroll manifest 2016-23 and 2016-24 as presented.
Second by Paul, and discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. Okay, public forum, anything else? Anybody, any questions on the agenda as far as what we discussed or talked about or whatnot? Okay, hearing none, We will move to agenda items.
So I'm gonna try to lock you into a date, August 17th, next meeting.
Yeah.
Consensus?
Fine
Yes.
with me.
It's all right, Rich, you're good.
You gonna come back for it?
Oh, that's right, you gotta come back for that. That'll work.
Should be good.
All right, going once. Good?
Yep. Oh, I'm good.
All right,
Yeah.
we're in. That's all I need. Review hires, summer hires.
Yep.
I'll let you know if we have foreign language curriculum perhaps. Food service, we're gonna bring food service to you
Oh, that's right.
in September. Well, we might bring that in September. I'll keep that on. I'll maybe bring that in September. And foreign language will be in September as well, it won't be in August.
This may sound like a strange request, but if we're gonna do that, can we visit the cafeteria to have lunch one day before they come in?
You can visit the cafeteria any day you'd like. We'll do it in September, and feel free to come in anytime.
Yeah.
Just-
Rachel, how's the food?
Here?
Yeah. It's putting you on the spot.
I believe there was a pause
There
there.
was a little pause.
The cookies are great.
Yeah. How's the Dinty Moore? Not bad?
Wanna get it open?
Fair enough. We just can't three come together, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can.
You can.
Incidentally.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Brian, you let us know how you make out, okay?
Yeah.
See if you can. Okay, nothing on non-public, correct?
Nothing
You
on.
got anything? Okay, perfect.
Motion
Okay.
adjourned.
There you go. Motion made by Paul to adjourn. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Aye, opposed?
50.
Motion carries. Thank you.
I missed these next year,
I
really.
can't see it from here. so-
Yeah.
It is 9.
No, it just started out that way.
It's 8.